This is the March 9th, 2025 Select Board meeting.
Or 2026.
2026, yeah, that might be good. Why did you put 2025 on there?
Why did you put 20?
I just read what you gave me.
Me?
Says February.
I did it. I did it. We'll meet at the Robbins Hall at 6 p.m. The meeting is open to the public, to be available by Zoom. Before we start, I would like to say publicly that I, for one, and I know Lisa for another, certainly want to thank Bob Hartnett for his 3 years of service. We both blew it a little bit at the informational meeting and not doing it right then, but the way that that agenda was written, and it wasn't wrong, but we went through all the officers under one article or one area, and it just kind of segued right into the next one, and so we both missed it. But Bob was great to work with. He has a lot of knowledge and certainly is a gentleman in the way he presents himself, as well as puts his opinions out there. So with that, I want to get it on the record that I certainly thank him, and I know Lisa will say a couple of words as well from the existing select board.
Yeah, I actually feel quite mortified that we didn't say anything at the informational meeting, and that was a mistake on our part, for sure. But I too want to thank Bob Hartnett for helping me when I was a new select board member. His knowledge was really helpful to me, and he was always very supportive. And while I'm thrilled that Mike is on the board with us, I'm also a little sad that we lost Bob as well. So I know he probably doesn't mind. He's probably psyched he's not here tonight, but we miss him.
I actually talked with him about 4 o'clock this afternoon when he called me back, and his comment was, we used to have to sign our emails Bob A or Bob H, otherwise she didn't know who the heck was sending her an email. Anyhow, he said to me, he said, Bob, he said, you know, if I wanted to continue going to every select board meeting, he said, I would have run again. And we both laughed. It was just a joke, but I tried to get him to come down so we could do this in person, but he's preferred not to do that. And with that said, I too want to welcome Mike to the table.
Thank you.
You ran a good campaign.
I had a lot of help.
I'm sure that you'll have a lot of questions, and we'll try to help you. Both of us will try to help you as much as we can.
I appreciate all that.
Okay.
Thank you for everybody that came.
Thank you for stepping up. We really appreciate you jumping in to help us out.
Okay, agenda items, changes to the published agenda. Anything, Lisa? Well, I have a couple. Under B, I want to put B1. I want to give Claude, the acting sheriff of the Windsor County Sheriff's Department, a moment to speak if he would like to. So we'll add in Windsor County Sheriff there. And under C, just before the appointment of town officers, I'd like to add in acceptance of some resignations that have one come to our attention one way or another. So we'll go from there. All right, minutes of the February 9th Select Board meeting. Any comments, questions, concerns, or thoughts? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the meeting of the February 9th minutes as written.
I'll second.
Any discussion, further discussion?
No.
Let's declare them accepted as motioned. And that's February 9th, 2026 too. We picked up a whole year. Treasurer's report.
Mine says 2026 on it.
It does?
Look
Oh,
at the
you're,
top of your fish.
oh, this one, yeah, okay.
Revenue for February was $2,070.33. Expenditures was $96,740.89. The balance as of the end, pardon me, so the end of February was $1,050,949.31. Delinquent taxes owed to the town is $44,339.31. There were some big payments that were made. Unfortunately, it was after the first, so they didn't get on to the other. They'll be on the next one. It's showing these payments and money coming in. There are still, it went down by quite a bit, and I actually just had another $2,500 pay off today.
Cool.
It's coming in, people have payment plans. We're plugging along. There's a couple that may be going for tax sale because they're more than 2 years and it's over the $1,500. And instead of, you have to wait 2 years now, and instead of waiting longer because they're notorious for not paying. I'm probably gonna start some tax sale proceedings coming up within the next month or so.
Okay.
We have just a couple other notes that I have. I can do the final report for ARPA funds finally. I got an email on that. It actually has to be done by the 14th of this month, so it will be done tomorrow.
That was that email that we got a while ago.
Yeah, last week. They don't give you any time to do it.
No.
I got it last week. But it's finally, and that should be fairly easy to do because there hasn't been anything for the year. It should just be able to go back to the other. They're finally, they're going through kind of a group of towns at a time now to close them out. I also got the letter today to close out the EWP project. We submitted the final stuff last week. Yep. And we got a letter today, certification, whatever they want to call it, saying that it is closed.
EWP project was all, excuse me, was all the work we did on Millbrook from Agony Hill Road up to Bailey's Mills intersection with Town Hill. So that's good, that's closed out. I did take a little bit of a ride around this weekend and today. And it's amazing, there is not much of the brooks, or not many of the brooks that have opened up much. This one here that's our habitual offender is still pretty well snow covered and frosted over in some manner. Not sure what the next couple of days will bring, but right now, knock on wood, everything's going fine. Back to the treasurer's report. Need a motion.
Yes. I'll second, or I'll make the motion to approve.
Accept.
Accept, yes.
I'll second.
All right. Declared it accepted. Highway status. Glenn, are you on there? No. Guess not. I can give you a quick update. I spent a little time with him this afternoon just before lunch. We do have some mud beginning to show up. Not nearly as bad as we had anticipated at this point. But today, this afternoon, it was in the 60s with a light breeze. That'll do one of two things. One, it's going to thaw the snow and thaw the roads. The breeze will help to dry them out. So we'll see how it all works out. We did put the grader out this afternoon, leveling off some of the ruts. Actually it went out this morning, but to just kind of keep it smoothed over as best we can, and we'll go from there. Glenn was breaking open the gravel piles when I was there, and so we are set to go if it gets worse, which we know it will, but we're pretty well set to go on that front. So that's basically what I have on highway status as of the moment, and it's probably going to change greatly in the next 48 hours, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Can I ask a question about the roads being posted?
Yeah.
So are SAP trucks exempt from that?
Or what? Yeah.
They are.
Unfortunately. Fuel trucks, food trucks, and agricultural type of trucks are exempt.
Mm-hmm.
We have a problem on North Buckabrush every year because of the SAP truck.
Correct.
But Only thing we can do is shut that road down and make them go up and down Town Hill, which alleviates the problem on North Buckabrush a little bit, but we have to pay good attention to Town Hill once we do that. That is a better road, and it doesn't have as much mud generally. So that's probably coming right along. So I know he was traveling there today.
He was, yeah.
And yesterday.
And yesterday too?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay,
I just happened to be up there and it was really bad,
yeah,
so.
yeah. Glenn said something about it, I hate to close it, I guess I gotta do it, so I don't know if he did it today or not. That's what I have. Anybody got any comments or questions or concerns? All right? Update.
Do you want me to do that, or you want to do the Windsor County Sheriff next?
I can do the Windsor County Sheriff's next if you want.
Either way.
Todd, you got anything you wanna present? You won't have to hang around, or you can, whatever you wanna do.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, I'm Claude Wyant, and I've been with the Sheriff's Department since 2001. And I was the former sheriff's captain, Mike Chamberlain, and he and I would attend these selectmen meetings year after year after year. Speaking with Bob and a few other people. And, thank you. And so, I now, because of things that have happened at the sheriff's office, I'm now the acting sheriff. I'm the high bailiff, so that's part of, if the sheriff can't do it, the high bailiff is supposed to kind of jump in. But actually, I'm here, I've assigned to this position as one of Ryan Palmer's last emails to the entire department. He said, I'm taking a break, and I'm going to turn the sheriff's department over to Claude to run it with a couple lieutenants underneath me, Andy and Rick King. So I retired once and was mainly doing the scheduling. I've been doing the scheduling for the last at least 15 years, at least. So I kept doing the scheduling, involved patrols and everything else. And so I still have that assignment. But I just want to say that I can only say that we try to do our best to accommodate when we can. For example, you know, when the kids do their parade and go down to the school from here, or other events, we try to accommodate the town the best we can. And I always try to make sure someone's here. We have one main deputy, his name is Mike Keefe. His main assignment is Cavendish and Reading area. So he tries to spend quite a bit of time here in Cavendish and Reading. And we have other officers, Andy Leonard's another one coming up through, and out of Springfield comes up through here all the time for visibility. And, you know, if there's a violation, serious, whatever, he'll stop the vehicle also. But I really don't have a whole lot to say, only that I hope that the town continues with us. We've had a close relationship, like I say, as long as I can remember. And I would hope that we can still continue doing that. I know the town has some big decision to make, whether to continue with the sheriff's office or to try to join with the Weathersfield. I understand it's a big decision for everybody to make, and I certainly respect any decisions that's made, but I certainly would like it if the sheriff's department stayed in town. We try to address whatever problems come along. Call us, ask for me. I would do my very best. You know, if there's a certain problem in a certain part of town with speeders or whatever it might be, we'll just try to do our very best. We are scheduled in town 10 hours a week right now. That's what we do, so we're not here a lot, but we try to respond if something comes up, even when we're not here. If we have deputies in either Plymouth or Cavendish, we try to do a little bit of mutual aid, so to speak. And they would do the same. I should say, we would do the same here, too, if we had patrols in Reading and something was serious in Cavendish. So I call it mutual aid. So that doesn't happen very often, rarely. But just in case I want you guys to know that that's one of the things we do, like, so, again, if we don't have anybody in Reading, we have somebody in Cavendish, or we have somebody in Plymouth, and something comes in here, we will send them over here, because something's happening important in Reading, which is one of our towns, so. But anyway, again, I'm happy to be here. I'm thankful to all of you folks to be here. I mean, the service that you give, the time you give to your town and the people in the town, you know, yeah, I don't have the words to say, really. I just really appreciate everybody. And again, I hope we can continue to help, but obviously that's up to you guys. So, does anybody have any questions?
No, I-
No, thank you very much for coming
Thanks
tonight.
for coming, Todd.
You're very welcome.
Thank you.
So take care, folks.
I do want to follow up with Claude's being here. Thank you, Claude, for coming.
Oh, you're very welcome.
A couple of weeks ago, it got around that Reading, Cavendish, and Weathersfield were forming a regional police force. Reading and Cavendish never agreed to be part of that, officially agreed to be part of that police force. We both said, and I talked to the town manager of Cavendish during a meeting here a couple of Thursday nights ago. I asked him about it and he said no. He said, we wanted to have discussions, and that is exactly the term that I gave to the police chief in Weathersfield when he approached me with it back on the 10th of February. And I said, well, it'd be an interesting discussion to have, or be worth a discussion. I'm not sure how I worded it. And so all of a sudden it got posted that there was a regional meeting coordinated by Reading, Weathersfield, and Cavendish. We got that straightened out and we had the meeting. It was a very good meeting. There was 3 sheriff's deputies there. Claude made a similar speech at that point and said that in the end, he said that if a police force was formed, and it's going to be formed in Weathersfield, that's almost a sure thing. But if it was, did become regional and there was any issues, he was there to help that police force as much as he could with the manpower he had. Very professional. We have a contract with Windsor County through June 30th of this year, and we have no intention of canceling that contract like Weathersfield canceled theirs. Between now and then, we'll see how everything is working out with Windsor County, and we'll see what's going on with Weathersfield. I would say my opinion, it's just my opinion, that I think that they are a little optimistic about how fast they can recreate a police department. But with that said, they've got a lot of things going on right now. I have not heard from Brandon since that meeting, so I'm not up to date. But just wanted everybody to know, we never said that we were going to join a regional force. We said it would be worth a discussion. And that was basically where it's been left. As things progress, there'll probably be more discussions, and we'll see where it goes from there. That's my spiel for the night.
Yes.
Can I ask a quick question? I'm curious, in the contract with the sheriff's department, does it have similar terms in terms of the out clause of the cancellation without cause as what Weathersfield had? So that if for some reason, and I'm not offering an opinion or my point of view on this, but if for some reason the select board decided to, in October, to opt out of the contract, do we have as short of an out as they had?
Our current contract gives us 30 days.
Okay.
30-day notice to them or a 30-day notice from them to us.
Okay.
Weathersfield's contract was a 120-day notice,
Right.
which they did tell the Windsor County Sheriff's Department they were going to opt out at
Right.
the end of 120 days, which takes them to about June 1st, not June 30th. So that they're different. But Weathersfield had a lot more police hours that they had contracted for, number one, and the number of calls were amazing. It was 1,300 and some calls for the prior year in Weathersfield, 253 in Reading, and 227 in Cavendish. So we were less than half of what Weathersfield has. But you think about it, there's Route 5, Route 131, a portion of Route 106, and the interstate, and their population is considerably larger than Reading and Weathersfield and Cavendish put together. So I can understand it.
Yeah,
But
makes sense.
that's where we're at. If we re-sign the contract, it'll probably be still a 30-day notice to get out. Or we can get out at the end of this one with no notice, basically just let the contract run out.
Right, okay, thank you.
Just one quick follow-up.
Brian.
Are they able to cover the contracted hours that they are contracted to now in light of their reduction in staffing? Shall we say?
The sheriff's department,
Yeah, currently, we're getting our 10 hours and,
I've asked Claude that because there's been a lot of people that have mentioned to me, we never see the sheriff.
yeah.
Where's the sheriff? Or do we still have a contract with him? And it really ramped up after some of this news got out a couple of weeks ago. But I said, the only thing I can say is that they are at their own discretion as to when they're in town, how long they stay each time they get here. Under the prior administration, Mike Chamberlain, we used to have 4-hour windows, and the only reason they would leave early would be if they got a call to go someplace else. I think, and boy, I'm stretching here, but I think maybe what is happening is that they're doing more patrolling and less setting in a visible area,
Yeah.
like the foot of the hill up here on 106, out here by Watkins Store, or,
They've been spending a lot of time on Tyson Road.
yeah.
patrolling
And
Tyson Road.
they used to set a lot of time right at the fire station and catch people just kind of gliding through that stop sign.
Yeah.
I'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
But, so I think that the visibility may be less, or thinking that it's less, because they don't go by them and see them out here at the store for 2 or 3 hours a day.
Great.
I
I asked in part because it seems like this is.
should have asked him that while he was here.
Well, yeah, I should have probably too. I was just thinking, there's an opportunity now, given that you have a consideration to re-sign or not, to maybe revisit with them. If you felt like there was anything where, hey, we'd like a little more steady hours, or these places cover, right? It's an opportunity to have that dialogue.
I had a conversation with him at the Weathersfield meeting, as well as the deputy that's patrolling this area.
Yeah,
And I did say to him that when our contract runs out, I would like to start discussions about a month before, so that we could work out what we really want, how much we're willing to pay. And that's one of the reasons the hours have gone down, is we've refused, so to speak, to increase our assessment to
I
them.
remember, yeah.
We've hung at $40,000, and their rates have gone up, so their hours went down.
Yeah. Thank you, that's very helpful. Thanks, I appreciate it.
That's where we're at.
Yeah.
We also receive a report every month of where they've patrolled and what they do. So,
Thanks.
All right, back up one little spot,
all right.
whatever.
All right. I just wanted to do a hopefully fairly brief follow-up after the discussion last month regarding the Timber for Transit grant, and kind of what we've been working on, Madeline and I, since that time. So the first thing I did was communicate with Northern Borders and outline the conversation we had at the select board meeting, let them know that we will not be applying for the feasibility funding for this round. We're going to be taking the next couple of months to gauge the community interest and consider whether applying for a fall application for both feasibility and implementation is in the best interest of the town. We also met with Catherine Servideo. She's the Vermont State Forest Economy Manager, and Andy Fast, he's the New Hampshire Forest Industry State Specialist and an Extension Professor. We discussed some mass timber further. He has also allocated, if we want it, 10 hours of time where he would help us out with structural engineering. They also connected us with Britain's Lumber, who has used CLT construction to construct a boiler room up at their Bath, New Hampshire yard. Britton's itself was very positive about the cost and the value of using the CLT mass timber product, but also the ease and speed which they finished the project with. That did bring the costs down because of the fact that it took less time to put it up. They actually have offered us a tour, and we've scheduled that tentatively for 3/18, and Robert's going to be attending that with us as well. Madeline met with Robert Allen to get his thoughts regarding the design of the new garage and considerations when evaluating the costs and benefits of the different types of construction. And much like ourselves, he feels the criteria would include durability, operating cost, and functionality, as well as what it costs to actually put up the building itself. Some of you folks were at the informational meeting, we used that opportunity to bring the subject to a wider audience, announce some upcoming tours that would be happening up at the town garage, and also distributed a one-page summary which outlined the project. We have copies of that here tonight if anybody would want one. And Madeline connected with Representative Becca White at the meeting, and we're scheduling a meeting with her to talk about funding sources, potentially for a new salt shed for the garage, and some advocacy for our town as she's on the transportation committee. Madeline and I and Mike, before he was sworn in, met with Glenn and Scott this past week to make sure that we're all working on the same thing, which is to establish a uniform set of specs and create a clear and concise plan as we move forward, looking at the rough costs of multiple types of buildings. We also discussed their concerns about the building more in depth and what they envision that they would like to see going forward. They also reached out to Kevin Osgood on their own, and he offered to work up some preliminary design plans based on their recommendations. He'll be sharing those with us probably later this week, hopefully. And we firmed up the dates for the tours. One will be on Saturday, 3/21, and the second one will be on Saturday, the 11th of April, from 10 to 12. Both Glenn and Scott will be there to answer questions. One of the questions that we had last month was whether we could add an article to the either August or fall voting if we decided we were getting to the point where we were going to be looking for some funding. And VLCT and the Vermont State Election Division both said that the town can add an article. It would be on a separate ballot, and it must be separately noticed and held as a special town meeting. We've also started talks with several other towns throughout the state that have recently built garages. So I will take some time to reach out to the select boards up in those towns and see if they'd be willing to share their knowledge with us throughout the whole process. That is where we're at. If anyone has any questions. Yes, Jerry?
Just a quick one. If there is a special article and a special vote, what voting format, if that's the right way to ask, does that adhere to? I don't know. I wasn't sure if Australian ballot applies to everything for town at any point in time in the year, or is that just for our annual March election?
They actually did not specify that. That's a
Okay.
good question. I'll
It
follow
is-
up on that.
It would be Australian ballot.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Once it's voted to go Australian ballot, everything is.
Everything
And
is.
if it's a special town meeting, it would, yes, definitely.
Thank you, Callista.
So we would have like an informational meeting likely to,
Yes.
to
It
provide
would be the
information?
same kind of format.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All set?
I am.
Okay. We have some liquor licenses that need to be signed. I assume they're in here.
No, they don't need to be signed anymore, it's all electronic, you just have to approve them so I can put it in the system that they were approved by the select board.
We have two for Hall Art Foundation. One of them is their first-class restaurant/bar license, that they have paid a fee to us. The other one is outside consumption, which doesn't require a fee, which is what they've had for the last, I don't even know how many
I
years.
think we ought to go to a dry town.
In Reading, not South Reading. Only in Reading, not South Reading. The other one-
I'll second that.
feathered.
Yeah. And I may have that up. And then we have the second class liquor license for the greenhouse, for their sale. Those are the only ones we have in town, and everybody got it in all at once, so I just need a motion and a approval for those so I can continue doing them through the system.
Isn't there a $20 fee for outside consumption?
To the state of Vermont,
To the
not to
state,
the town.
okay.
Yes, the town doesn't get a fee for outside consumption.
They have to do it all online now.
Everything is done online,
And I get the email saying, oh, there's one out there, and go in and do what I need to do, and then now, once it's approved, I have to go in and say, yes, it's been approved, and then it goes back to them to pay their fee to the state. And then when the state approves it, I get a notification.
Right.
Usually I get a copy of the liquor license that I filed.
I have no problem with giving them a liquor license.
I thought, when you started to talk, I was like, oh my gosh, he's really gonna say that.
I have no problem with it.
Well, for the record, I don't have any problem with it either.
Yes.
I guess it's all three of us then.
Figured I could get a conversation started, nobody said a word.
They said, only Reading, not South Reading. So I need a motion and a,
Motion to approve the liquor licenses for the Reading Greenhouse and the Hall Art Foundation.
And I will second.
All in favor?
Aye.
perfect.
Okay, we have a resignation. We have two.
Just one from me. I emailed you guys the resignation letter. It's from the Reading Rec Commission. I didn't bring a physical copy. I realized I maybe should have, so I apologize.
It must be on the select board.
It is.
It is.
You got it.
I didn't look there.
Yeah.
I have another one then. We have two. This is, please accept my decision to resign position effective April 1st, 2026. I appreciate the opportunity you gave me and have learned so much about my community and the town that I love. She never did say what she was resigning, but it's our health officer, Claire Kilbright. She wanted to do this last year, agreed to stay on to see if we could find somebody to replace her, and it's got to the point where she's just saying it's time. So we do have that one in writing. We'll pull yours off the website tomorrow. We'll have that one.
Okay.
And I assume we have to accept the resignations. I'm not sure exactly why, because what are we going to do if we don't?
They tried.
Yeah.
I know.
But we do need them in order to move forward and appoint somebody to take the place. So those are the two we have.
And for what it's worth, Rec is actively eliciting volunteers to consider for the position for Rec.
And you had someone, you were gonna
Yeah.
get someone on EC Fiber?
Yeah, so we'd like to have two folks appointed. So as you know, going back now for quite some time, I don't remember when John Malcolm became Reading's delegate on the EC Fiber board, but he asked myself and Bill Bacher at one point to join as alternates for him. And we did. Bill had resigned at some point a few years ago, and then the Malcolms moved out of town, so that left me as the sole delegate with EC Fiber. So I realized, well, we need at least an alternate, and I would like to, at some point this year, step down from the EC Fiber board. I'm trying to clear some personal space. And so in reaching out to the community, we came across two individuals who would like to join as delegates, and hopefully over the next few months get them transitioned in, joining the meetings, becoming up to speed with what's going on, and then we'll have one as the primary, one as the alternate, and that is Kevin McFarland and Tim Whitehouse, who are both here this evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm still waiting. They have a form that we're supposed to do,
Okay,
like a resolution thing that we do every year.
yeah,
I have reached out to the secretary there 3 times
okay.
and don't have it yet.
I'll ask Jeff about that. That's
Is
Jeff
he the
Brand.
secretary?
Jeff Brand, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, if you would.
I reached out to him as well for what it's worth about getting these folks appointed. I forgot it had to go through you guys, and it didn't. It wasn't until I raised it in the meeting last month that our chair was like, "Oh yeah, you just have to go through your select board." Like, oh yeah, I remember that process now. So I'll bring it up tomorrow night and see if there's
They
any
can
hold
just
up.
email me that. They usually just send it to email it to me and then
Okay.
We get it filled out with names and they sign it and send it back. It's a pretty simple process.
Okay.
We're gonna get to that, appointment very shortly, because we now appoint all of the officers that were not elected.
Right.
Appointed officers, and at that point in time, if you wanna give us the names, obviously, officially,
Yeah.
then we can pencil them in, and then when you resign, it's all taken care of for 2026 and up until this time, 2027.
Wonderful. So I want to make sure that I communicate this to them and to you guys the same note. I don't think, although I could be wrong, I don't think there's an upper limit other than practicality for how many a town can have. I feel like I've seen 3, like a primary and 2 alternates. That's what we have in place.
Yeah,
So that's how I
I'm
would.
trying to think the form, that's what's on the form.
Yeah, so that's how I would like to proceed. I'm not resigning yet, and I haven't even picked a hard date in mind yet anyway. So we'd only be appointing 2 additional as alternates for now. I might be swapping with one of the gentlemen at some point in the near future here as primary. And then when the time comes to resign, I'll coordinate with everybody and make sure that there's plenty of notice and all that. But I'm not resigning yet, but we do want to appoint these 2 officially.
Well, if we can have 3, that'll work.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that does take us to the next action item, is the appointment of town officers that are on page 11 of our report. There are some holes in the areas, so we'll take them one by one. And if you don't have a copy of the town report in front of you, the top listing is the Planning Commission, where the terms are already 28, 29, and 30, so we have no one to appoint there. There's only 3 on the board. If they were to add others, we would then fit them in, because Jane is still on board until 2028, Stacy 2029, and Eve 2030. So we'll go from there when the time comes. Memorial Day Administrator, 1-year term. Brody Allen was the administrator appointed last year. I texted him today and he's willing to continue if we so desire. EC Fiber, we just talked about that. John Malcolm moved out of town, so he officially resigned. Jerry is still here. We will reappoint you for a year, and then you do what you have to do between now and then,
That makes sense.
or want to do. Any other bodies? Okay. Stop me when you've got 3 or 4 people you want to mention to take these.
List, I've got a giant list here.
Yeah.
I'm just dying to volunteer.
I see
for
that,
things.
but you didn't show it to me. So. The Southern Windsor County Transportation Advisory Committee representative is what sweat tax stands for, is open. Some of these positions that became open, the chair of the select board was automatically expected to pick that up. That's why my name is beside a couple that it doesn't need to be beside, if we can find somebody else. I have been resisting taking the reins, if you will, for Reading on this. Gordy Eastman was our sweat tax representative for a long period of time, and he was very frustrated at the speed that the committee moved. But they were looking at projects anywhere from 2026, maybe out through 2030 something. So those projects obviously don't move very fast, and you end up talking about them every single month when you go and see where it's standing. And I was on that committee for a while, years ago. If anybody has a big interest in the road situations, it's exactly that. It's bringing up projects that really need to be done. The committee would vote on them, set a priority on them if it passed, that yes, we agree that project does need to be done. They set a priority on them, and then they fall in line. And obviously, there are several projects on their plate already for the next 2 or 3 years, so anything that comes up, unless it becomes an emergency, is going to get pushed out considerably. The fire chief, emergency director, deputy chief, E911 coordinator, all are appointments that are made with no intent to change that unless we decide for whatever reason, or they decide for whatever reason that they don't want that position any longer. I am the zoning administrator through 2027, and I am seriously looking for somebody to take that position so that I can step aside, maybe even as early as next year, and let them be the administrator, and I would take the alternate if Ray Johnson didn't want to stay on board and help that person out. But it's another one of those jobs that difficult to find anybody. And I've only asked a very few people. I haven't gone out canvassing the town. That was one of them that fell on me when Charlie Hellgate passed away, or fell on the select board when Charlie Hellgate passed away, and we tried to run it as a group for about 3 years, I think, 2 or 3 years, and that wasn't working out very well. So I nominated one of the other select board members and immediately got a strong no. It should be the chair. Anyway, it has not been that bad, but it has been busy the last couple of years. Other than that, what, 12, 15 permits a year?
It's usually not that much. Last year we had 30.
Yeah,
Last year we had 30. They're starting to come in now for spring. Now spring is in the air. People are talking about building.
there's a lot of building and modifications and additions going on in Reading right now. A lot of them.
Yeah.
The alternate, Ray Johnson, he is up this year. I have not talked to him. I think, are those 1-year terms? I thought it was a 3-year.
It is a 3-year, those are 3-year terms, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a 3-year term, offset from the zoning administrator on purpose.
Yep.
So, want to put his name in the list and see
Yes.
where it falls?
Yes.
All right, that would be 2029. Wastewater Committee, that was a 1-year appointment that we did a year ago. And I think we did it in May, didn't we?
Yes.
Yes.
This really should fall in this group right here.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure, and I haven't talked to Tyler, I guess he's the chair. He's the
Correct.
chair, Sarah. I haven't talked to him to see if that would be okay with him, so maybe we put it off for a month and
Till April.
get some sort of a statement from him relative to the 6 members that are on there.
Yep. And we have had one resignation on that, which was Rich Grogan.
Oh, that's right, yes, okay.
And the alternate, who was Mike Knoll, has been involved in all of the meetings, so there was no reason to try to backfill the position.
Hopefully we'll just continue on with the 5 we got.
Yeah.
If not, maybe they've got a suggestion.
Seems like it's working well.
Going back to the top, Recreation Commission, Jerry has said, although I haven't received any paperwork, that he is going to resign from that commission. Which leaves us with 4.
Sherry's resigning?
Huh?
Oh. Nothing, okay. Whew.
What?
Nothing. I misheard.
We have 4 people on there. Sherry Macri is the person that is up for reappointment. Does anybody know if she wishes to continue?
I can confirm from our February meeting, she tends to continue.
She will.
Yeah.
So that would put her out to 2030. Okay.
She said she wanted a lifetime appointment, actually. Since she was the first to reject my resignation, I'd like to volunteer her for a lifetime appointment.
I think my husband might have been a close second.
Yeah.
All right.
And I know you guys are actively looking for somebody else to come on?
Yeah.
So it's not 4.
Correct.
Okay. Green Space Committee, we had 3 resignations and 1 appointment. Jen Doherty, Sue Mulder, Karen Barr, they are all up for 2026. And I believe that was their request. They wanted 1-year appointments.
When they first started, yes.
So, I don't know Jen very well, but I assume Sue is still willing to continue.
Yes, and I believe the other ones are too, from talking with Sue.
Yeah,
We'll just reappoint all three.
excellent.
Make them resign.
I think that sounds like a great idea.
Bill Newcomb, he's not here, I can't believe that. Energy Committee, I know he's still doing a lot of work.
He wants it.
He did-
We discussed it.
Okay.
We realized it was an issue.
All right,
So 2030?
2030. Tree warden, I talked with Chris Blanchard here about a week or two ago when a tree came down. I went up to block the road. And he said that his job had not been real busy. And
He
I
said he'd
"Well,"
do it again when I talked to him. He said, sure, sign me
I
up.
looked at the tree across his power lines and the pole was tipped over and I said, well, it's gonna get a little busier tonight. So anyway, I think he'll continue. Kathy Callahan Rondu, anybody know her thoughts?
I've not talked to her.
I think I haven't heard, I should say, I have not heard that she's not interested in continuing with Marg.
Well, then that makes her interested.
There you go.
See how this works, Mike?
Yeah, we just appoint everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, if you
show
don't
up-
come to say no, you're in.
Exactly.
If you don't show up and you don't say no, you're,
So I didn't even have to come?
no, but I got a couple open positions.
Yeah. I'll stick with this one for now.
Solid Waste Management District Rep, you can pencil my name in again, but I do have someone that has expressed an interest in learning what that's more about. And I'm gonna take that gentleman to the next meeting, which will be April. It's a quarterly meeting, 4 times a year. It's not a big deal. But they do a lot of work with the area towns on their solid waste and how they handle it and who handles it and the recycling and all of that. So I will take this if he's still willing. He approached me in January, but it was like the day after their meeting in January. So I'll pick him up in April, take him down. And then we have one of the easiest positions on the board, the animal control officer.
It's so unbusy until it isn't.
And it's not an easy position when it isn't.
Yeah,
So I assume you haven't said no, so I assume
I
you're.
know. I know, I'll do it.
All right. All of the appointed officers by other are down below. The town clerk, town treasurer, fire commission, state fire commissioners, or the Department of Health makes those official appointments. When it comes to the fire wardens and the health officer, we put in a recommendation. They review the situation and they make the formal appointment.
And as
Or
far as,
not.
yeah, as far as the fire wardens go, I reached out to whatever his name is, Jim somebody. And he said, oh, you're early. We'll send you the information when it's due.
Yeah.
So,
And that would be for Greg Smith. Oh, they're both 2026.
yeah, they both, yeah, it would be for Greg and Nathan. If they still want to do it. They have to sign off on the form, so
Okay.
we'll, them.
So that brings us down to the health officer. That is a position that we really need somebody. There's not a lot of activity, but as Lisa said, when there is activity, we really need somebody that can investigate the situation. With no health officer, that falls back to the Board of Health, which is the Select Board in Reading. And I'm not sure that any one of the three of us want to pick up any more duties, but it does give somebody to talk to, even though Claire has resigned.
What are the responsibilities of a health officer?
It's basically to investigate public health issues. If someone, say like yourself, you have a wastewater problem it's contained on your property. That is not something that the health officer has to get involved in unless it's running off your property into the brook, into the town road, or onto neighbor's property. Then it becomes public. But it's not every single wastewater situation that's going on in town. There are other things that crop up occasionally relative to living conditions and things like that they investigate for the
Dog
welfare of
bites.
the people.
There's a book about
What's
this
that?
stuff.
Dog bites.
Dog bites, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, dog bites, it's a person's dog, it's one person. However, if that dog is of the type that might bite other people, that falls under their category. Things like that.
It doesn't pertain to you?
Oh, it pertains to me too.
Yeah, on the dog bites, if somebody goes to the ER or something, then the health officer
Has
has
to.
to first
Paperwork.
phone call, and then, do you get a call from them?
From who?
From the, like,
From the
hospital
ER?
or anything?
No,
Or it goes from the health officer
to me.
you? Okay.
Yeah,
I wasn't quite sure how that worked.
Yeah.
with that. I know Claire gets the call from the emergency room.
Right.
Because it usually comes to me first, wanting to know who to call for that.
Right.
officer.
All right,
That's that.
so that's one we'll have to work on.
yeah.
In just a minute, I'll take a motion, but I did want to back up to page 10 and just mention that we have an open position on trustee of public funds. We have an open position on cemetery commission. And I think that's it
For elected positions.
for elected positions. However, even though they are elected, once the town meeting is over and nobody gets the required number of votes through write-in, years ago, you nominate from the floor, yes or no, it was done. Now you have to have a certain number of write-in votes in order to get elected in a non-contested or what do I want to say?
If nobody's running
Nobody
for it.
signed up for it, so nobody did that except for Rayner Bishop, and that was kind of because of the comments made down at the informational meeting.
Yes, she got plenty of votes.
Yeah,
So, those positions, if you're interested in cemeteries, they need some help, or if you're interested in sitting on the trustee of public funds. There's another page here, I should have looked it up, tells you all of the funds that we have that have been given to us or whatever, that all they do basically is take a look at CDs that come due. They should, and I think they do, probably she does more of it than they do, but anyway.
Nope, when the CDs come due, I call the bank to see what their deals are, and then I pass it along to
Okay.
them, and they decide yes or no, because sometimes, you know, there's a 5-month special, or there's a 9-month special, or whatever. I give them all the information, they decide which one they want, and then I call the bank and tell them this is what we're doing.
Okay. All right, so
They
basically
do-
it's,
They do make the decisions.
it's investing those funds to make the most money for the town, or for the fund. Some of them were restricted, the only thing we could use is the interest. And in most of them, they're not big enough to generate a lot of interest, so.
Most of them are cemetery. Where is it? I just have the page. There's two cemeteries, there's 2 for the Historical Society, there's a lumber trust, and an Indian Stones. And there are restricted funds on all but the historical.
Which brings me to a question. Why is the historical being sort of a non-town?
Because that money was given to the town to control for them when
Oh.
from there, and they get $2,500 a year. So we split it in half, so it would come from one or the other.
Okay. Yeah, I
But it
guess,
was-
I guess I remember that now.
Yeah.
That
when
happened
they-
when we took the
with
church over.
Church, yes, with the church, they gave money for them to use only for maintenance of the building.
Okay, Alright. So, I need a motion.
Kevin has a question. Go ahead, Mr. McFarland.
Could you explain what the cemetery position entails? What's the duties or responsibilities from that position?
Basically, we have 6 town cemeteries. The Felchville Cemetery is not considered a town cemetery. They have their own board of directors, if you will, but we have 6 other cemeteries in town. Some of them quite old, or they're all quite old, but some of them are inactive because of their age and the fact that we really don't know where everybody has been buried. Stones have gotten broken, they've gotten knocked down, picked up and set over beside a tree on a stone wall or something like that. There has been some work trying to figure that out by various people in town, including the Historical Society. But they are the ones that are charged with maintaining those cemeteries, dealing with burials that may be coming up. In other words, selling the lots, things like that. Making sure that the cemeteries are mowed and taken care of. And if a tree comes down, making sure they get a hold of somebody to take care of that and general maintenance and things like that.
Do they do the actual mowing and
No.
tree work?
No.
Just ensuring that
They
it's
contract
done?
that, they contract that out to somebody that's licensed and insured.
So when they contract, I'm interested, that's why I do genealogy work.
You should get in touch with Adam Kozlowski, who's the chair of the Cemetery Commission.
Oh, okay,
If you give me a call, I'll give you his phone number.
okay.
Give me a call tomorrow or something, and I'll give you his phone number. Or an email. He's
Okay.
the one that can tell you the ins and outs.
Okay, because I have a lot of time, that's why I've reached out with Jerry. I'm looking for ways to contribute and to volunteer. So that one sounds interesting, because I've done, for my own family, genealogical research. So the cemeteries are an important part of that. My daughter used to, when I was traveling up to northern Maine from my home in Thomaston, and she got to where she said, "Dad, do we have family in that cemetery?" Because I was stopping all the cemeteries. It was really kind of funny. I just share that. It's an interest item.
Well, talk with Adam, Callista has his number,
Okay, I'll
give him a
call.
call.
Yep.
And
Thank you.
he can give you a lot better idea than what I can, but
Well, that was helpful. Thank you.
That would be great, thank you.
hey. So with that said, I would take a motion to appoint everybody we talked about as one motion rather than 6 or 7.
Yes.
I would accept the motion. Second? What am I looking for? What do I need to say?
You'll make a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept
The appointments.
the appointments of everybody.
Excellent.
Yeah, everybody.
I'll second.
Everybody that's
All
willing.
right,
Thank you.
any discussion?
No, let's move off of that one.
All right, we're moving down. One of the things that we have to have on the agenda, on this agenda, is election of a select board chair. And I am the incumbent. So what is your pleasure?
I'm gonna make a really fast motion, and I'm going to make a motion to have Mr. Allen continue as the select board chair.
And I will second.
Fast.
I didn't want to cut you off.
You're getting good at this now, Mike.
I didn't want to cut her.
Okay. Any objections out there in the audience?
We're still the training wheels people.
Yeah, obviously.
I'll still be around even if I'm not the chair. All right, I will accept. I put the next item on here just for some clarification, hiring of an assessor, town clerk, and a town treasurer. We passed last year where the select board can hire or appoint an assessor to do the duties of a lister. And this year we had one on for each of the other two officers, the town clerk and the town treasurer. I think appoint's a bad word. It's not a bad word, but it's not maybe the correct word. I think hire is a better word, whereby that we would be hiring people to work for the town in these positions until we or they decided that a change was needed. And the reason I have them on here was so I would remember we really need job descriptions for all three offices. And I talked to the clerk that works with the assessor today about her position as well as the assessor's position, and they have worked up some information. So, Madam elected town clerk and town treasurer, you have about
Sir?
30 days to get us job descriptions.
That would be
Please.
helpful.
I've started working on so many different times, and the biggest thing is any other tree as it comes up. Because it's difficult, because there's so many state things, and even being a hired employee, there are state statutes that have to be followed no matter what, whether it's hired or elected.
Right.
There are state statutes that you have to do, no matter what. I will go down through and get
Well,
a
there's,
general list, because
in some of those job descriptions, there's always the statement,
and other duties as assigned. Oh, I know about that.
so anyway, that's basically where we're at with that position. I have created a job description or a job posting for the third employee, and I will email it to both of you sometime this week, and wordsmith it, send it back to me, we'll get it straightened out, and we'll get moving on that by the end of March or something to get it out in the papers and see what comes up.
Third employee for
The town highway.
highway,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
to clarify.
Sorry.
That's okay.
I basically took the one we used before and put a few more words in it.
Excellent.
You'll chuckle when you see a couple.
I cannot wait.
But if anybody knows of anyone that's interested in a full-time, secure job, be sure that they apply. We have to post this, and we'll take a fair look at anybody that has the qualifications, obviously. I think the words were energetic person looking for long-term secure employment. That is probably as politically correct as I can get. Other, I got a couple things. You got any other, either of you?
I'm new, I got nothing.
You'll be shocked, I have no others tonight.
Geez, if I'd have known that, I wouldn't have written mine down. Eve is gone. I was hoping she's going to be on here. We got an email from Eve relative to
Yeah.
the Tier 1B resolution that we passed and never presented because we got concerned about some notes that would create for the town. Basically, they had a meeting at the Planning Commission. I don't know if you zoomed in or not, I did not. That kind of cleared up a lot of our concerns about going to a Tier 1 town. And basically what that is, Tier 1B, and what that is it allows us to move forward with projects of less than 10 acres within certain districts in town without going through Act 250. It'd be all done through the zoning ordinance and the regulations with the zoning ordinance and can be handled by the planning commission, the zoning board of adjustment, and basically the select board, as to whether or not it goes forward. I think that after hearing what they found out last Wednesday night, I think that going to the tier 1B would be a good move to make. And I want to be sure you agree, but they got a lot of information about what it does and doesn't do. And we were concerned it was going to throw a tremendous load on the town of Reading. And it doesn't seem like that is going to be the case based on the small area, basically the village center and the, what's the other term? Village center and...
Stacy, help us. What's the additional village area? What are they calling it?
Village, it's the village center and the village area.
Village center and village area?
Yeah, so the map to your left, there's a darker pink area, which is our existing village center, and then the light pink area adjacent to that is the newly designated village area. I think there's a ledger to the bottom right on that map.
So I was not at the meeting, but you obviously were. Do you have any concerns about the tier 1B resolution and us moving it forward at this point in time?
Well, I was under the impression that you voted to move it forward in the last meeting.
We did, and then we put
That's
a hold.
what's in the...
Yeah, we put a hold on it based on an email that Eve sent us relative to some concerns and also some statements from VLC in the VLCT flyer that looked like it might be putting a big burden on the existing people in Reading, which I guess I'm finding out now that that's not necessarily true.
Well, we had a presentation by Alex, I forget his last name, Alex Weinhagen maybe, if I got that wrong. He had a pretty extensive presentation for us at our last meeting on Wednesday. And he basically said, as Jason also confirmed in prior communication, that there really wasn't a negative to moving forward with the Tier 1B status. There's a little bit of a conflict in understanding about we're designated based on previous determinations by the PC and the Select Board years ago. We're designated as a 1-acre town versus a 10-acre town. So we dove into trying to see what the application process looks like to increase us from a 1-acre to 10-acre. Jason was in touch with Stephanie at Act 250, and it was a pretty comprehensive 8-page questionnaire with a lot of details needed to confirm that we were eligible to move forward with that process. So we, as in the Planning Commission, decided to bench that for now until we could dig into it a little further later. The Tier 1B, if we can determine how the overlay looks for, in regards to our being a 1-acre town, is it does, the Tier 1B does allow up to 10 acres to not fall under Act 250 jurisdiction, which would be great, I think. Following the newly designated areas on that map to your left, it would allow additional possible funding for any projects in that pink, those two pink areas. Whether there's many lots that are available within those two pink areas, would be determined by the landowner and if there was a developer interested. So I think I would confirm that there's not any downside to it once we get a few further details kind of cleared up to make sure we're headed in the right direction with it. Sorry. And I think some of the, just a side note with Eve, if she were here, she could go over this in further detail, but there are a few larger towns that did not want to move to a Tier 1B, and that was from what Alex mentioned to us, that was because they were interested in a higher level of Tier 1A status, and they didn't want the Tier 1B to bog down their process to get to the Tier 1A. So I think that was maybe the initial objection that Eve had, but I don't want to speak for her directly since she's not here.
And my understanding as well, Stacy, based on Jason Rasmussen's comments in the previous meeting, were that because Reading has a pretty strident zoning ordinance, that's the whole benefit, is that because we have good zoning, not having to go through Act 250 is not going to be a burden.
Right, we wouldn't be even considered for Tier 1B if we didn't have the zoning, the ZA, and all of those elements in place.
Great.
So we voted on it last month and we signed it last month. So there's no action for us to take tonight if we decide just to forward that over to Mark at this point in time. And do you have any problem with us doing that?
I'm not the chair, and I don't want to speak for the other two members since they're not here.
No, personally I'm asking.
I don't think I have a personal issue. I don't know if all of Eve's questions and concerns were cleared up though. And I think maybe, could you give us another month, 30 days to process the concerns and identify how the relationship between a 1 acre town and the Tier 1B relate to one another, which one overlays which in a question of someone moving forward with a project.
I was just trying to get it moved forward. I guess I don't have a problem with waiting another month and doing it in April. We missed our deadline for this go around as far as going to a Tier 1B anyhow. And I think the next one comes up in the fall.
I think October.
Huh?
Yeah, I think it's October.
October. So sometime between now and October, we should get everything cleaned up. But if you think you can do it in a month, I guess I don't have a big objection to waiting another month.
Yeah, we and Eve asked Alex to keep us on the email chain with all of the events that sort of unfold, because it's kind of a dynamic on the state level process, because there's also lots of other conversations with different designations within areas. So Alex is supposed to keep us up to date on that movement. So I think within our next meeting, we should have our questions and concerns cleared up.
Okay. I wasn't asking, we weren't gonna vote anyway because we'd already done that, but holding on to it for another month's no big deal.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, with hearing no other, thought somebody said something on there, I guess not. Any other out here?
Can I just ask a question? In terms of what you were just discussing, I don't want to ask the question here, but which committee would be worth, if there even is an answer to this, trying to understand the impact of moving from a 1 acre to 10 acre and then moving to 1B, what implication that may have, good or bad, for town wastewater, and how that affects our ability in the future to do that? Would that be a wastewater committee question? Would that be a zoning board question? Would that be, I don't know who I would ask offline.
Stacy, can you answer that?
Yeah, I think it would only benefit the wastewater and
Okay.
the freshwater process. The more we have in our arsenal to go
Self-regulate?
through that,
Yeah.
it would help a lot.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
It wouldn't, just Jerry, because this did come up, it did come up in conversation, would there be additional funding for wastewater or any additional grants or anything? And Alex's comment was, no, there wouldn't. But it would, just like we have the zoning and we've recently updated our bylaws, it definitely helps moving upwards in these tiers.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
Anybody else? I want to thank all you folks for coming tonight. I think we can conclude our business.
Motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
Excellent.